So, dear fourth semester student, we have host parasite interaction in our syllabus, as we covered previously in the classroom. Today again I am discussing this. So, microbes are found everywhere. সব জায়গায় মাইক্রোবস আছে এবং আমরা রোজ দিন কিছু খাওয়ার মাধ্যমে, কিছু ইনহেল করার দ্বারা, কিছু ভেরিয়াস কাইন্ডস অফ ট্রান্সপোর্টেশনের দ্বারা আমরা নাম্বার অফ মাইক্রোবস আমাদের ভেতরে নেই। The microbes includes bacteria, virus, protozoa and other parasitic organisms, which includes both ectoparasites and both endoparasites. So most of have no ill effects due to protective mechanism in our body, that is by coughing, urinating, sneezing and defecating. But humans and animals have friendly organisms throughout their bodies that survive as normal flora and colonize a host but do not cause disease. However, if these organisms begin to cause any obvious damage to a host by invading tissue or producing toxins, then they become pathogens or disease causing parasites. So now coming to the point, what is the significance of host pathogen or host parasite interactions? Here host parasite interaction provide information that can help various scientists and researchers understand the disease pathogenesis, the biology of one or more pathogen, as well as the biology of the host. Like nowadays all researchers and scientists are working on this novel coronavirus COVID-19. It is through these interactions that basic research discoveries are made. এই যে ইন্টারাকশন গুলো হচ্ছে এগুলোর অবজারভেশনস থেকে ফার্দার যে ডিসকভারিজ গুলো, লাইক যে এখন ভ্যাকসিন আসতে চলেছে, সেইগুলো যেরকম ভাবে কাজ হচ্ছে, এগুলো সব ডিপেন্ড করছে এই হোস্ট প্যারাসাইট আর হোস্ট প্যাথোজেন ইন্টারাকশনের উপরে। লাইক প্রথম যেভাবে এই ইন্টারাকশনের ব্যাপারটা এক্সপেরিমেন্টালি ক্রিয়েট হয়েছে, এক্সপেরিমেন্টালি দেখানো হয়েছে, সেটা হচ্ছে কোচের postulates. Here, over a century ago, Robert Koch established that infectious diseases were caused by microbes. He was looking for a causative agent for anthrax, and his ideas or experimental criteria are used to determine if a microbe posed a specific disease or not. The criteria includes the microbe must be present in every case of the disease, the organism must be grown in a pure culture from diseased হোস্টের বডি থেকে একটা সোয়াব কালেক্ট করে বা একটা স্যাম্পল কালেক্ট করে ওইটাকে কালচার করা হয়। Then the same disease must be produced when a pure culture of organism is introduced into a susceptible host. এই পিওর কালচারটাকে যখন একটা নতুন কোনো সাসেপ্টিবল অর্গানিজমের মধ্যে ইন্ট্রোডিউস করা হয়, তখন সেই অর্গানিজমের মধ্যেও ডিজিজটা তৈরি হবে। লাইক যেরকম আমরা ল্যাবরেটরিতে ডিজিজ ইন্ডিউস করার জন্য র্যাটকে, মাঙ্কিকে, র্যাবিটকে, গিনিপিগকে ইউজ করি, ওদের বডিতে আমরা ইন্ডিউস করে দেখি ডিজিজটা ইন্ডিউস হচ্ছে কি না। The organism must be recovered from the experimentally infected host. Then, however, there are some exceptions to this criteria. which are like some organisms cannot be cultured in the lab and grown on artificial media. কিছু কিছু organisms আছে যেগুলোকে artificial মিডিয়াতে যেগুলো বেঁচে থাকে না, এগুলোকে কালচার করা যায় না. And some pathogens can cause several disease conditions such as Mycobacterium tuberculosis, which can cause lung diseases and other diseases of skin, bone and internal organs. যে কাজেরগুলো বর্তমানে আগে তো সেরকম অত ইনফ্রাস্ট্রাকচার ছিল না, এখন যেরকম লেভেল 4 ল্যাবরেটরিগুলোতে এই কাজগুলো করা হয়. লেভেল 4 মানে সিভিয়ারলি প্রোটেক্টেড জোন. এখানে যারা কাজ করে ওরা পুরো বডি কভার করে, বডির ভিতরে অক্সিজেন সিলিন্ডার নিয়ে ওদের বডির মধ্যে যাতে কোনোভাবে কোনো ইনফেকশন ক্রিয়েট না হয় ওই রকমভাবে প্রোটেকশন নিয়ে ওরা কাজ করে. Then there may be ethical reasons that do not allow testing, that is human test is not allowed. Then coming to the host pathogen interaction, every individual's or animal's skin and mucous membrane generate an environment for microorganisms to interact with the body. The interaction between the host and the organism is referred as symbiosis. There are 3 forms of symbiotic relationships that can occur at an anatomical level. What are these relationships? These are mutualism, where both microorganism and the body work together. An example of this relationship would be cows and the bacteria in their rumen. And bacterial cellulose facilitates the digestion in the animal, while the bacteria benefits from nutrients in the rumen, like our intestinal E. coli, which help in our digestion process, and also get nutrients from our intestinal juices. Then comes commensalism. In commensalism, either the body or the microorganism benefits while other is not affected by the interaction. Here microorganisms that make up the normal flora that inhabit the eyes. The organism thrive on secretion and dead cell but do not affect the host. Next comes the parasitism. In parasitism, what happens? Here one organism benefits at the expense of the other. For example, parasites use the gastrointestinal tract of a human or animal as an environment in which to reproduce. So next is the part. So next is the major type of parasites according to the location are endoparasites and ectoparasites. Here endoparasites live within the body of the host at sites such as alimentary tract, liver, lungs and urinary bladder. Then ectoparasites that are attached to the outer surface of the host and are superficially embedded with the body surface, like our cocoon. Then type of host are there. So the type of hosts are present in the environment are a definitive host, where if the parasite attains sexual maturity therein. ওদের প্যারাসাইটের হোস্টের বডিতে যদি প্যারাসাইটগুলো ওদের সেক্সুয়াল ম্যাচুরিটি অ্যাটেইন করে তাহলে ওরা হচ্ছে ডেফিনিটিভ হোস্ট. দেন অ্যান ইন্টারমিডিয়েট হোস্ট, where the intermediate host serves as a temporary but essential environment for the development of the parasite or its metamorphosis short of sexual maturity, and finally the transfer or paratenic host, where it is not necessary for the completion of the parasite's life cycle, but it is utilized as temporary refuge and a vehicle for reaching an obligatory, usually the definitive host in the cycle. So the host parasitic interaction is a dynamic interaction, the outcome of which depends upon the properties of the parasite and of the host. The parasite has its determinants of virulence that allow it to invade and damage to the host and to resist the defenses of the host. Like আমাদের যদি করোনা ভাইরাসের কথাই আমরা ধরি, তার মানে হচ্ছে ভাইরাসটা অ্যাটাক করছে, কিন্তু যাদের ইমিউন সিস্টেম ভেরি মাচ স্ট্রং, ইমিউনিটি খুব স্ট্রং আছে যাদের, তাদের ক্ষেত্রে কি হচ্ছে, ভাইরাসটা ভেতরে ঢুকছে ঠিক আছে, কিন্তু খুব হাইলি এফেক্ট করতে পারছে না, খুব হাইলি এফেক্ট করতে পারে না। অনেকের ক্ষেত্রে হয়তো ওরা ক্যারি করার পরেও, ভাইরাসটাকে ক্যারি করার পরেও ওদের মধ্যে পজিটিভ রেজাল্ট আসে না যখন ল্যাবরেটরিতে টেস্ট করা হয়, বাট দে আর ইনফেক্টিং আদার পারসনস। এবং যখনই ইমিউনিটি কোনোভাবে উইক হয়ে পড়ে, ছোটদের ক্ষেত্রেও হতে পারে, বয়স্কদের ক্ষেত্রেও হতে পারে, এবং যাদের লাইফস্টাইল ভালো নয়, যাদের খাওয়ার সিস্টেম ভালো নয়, ডায়েটরি সাপ্লিমেন্ট যেগুলো আমাদের দরকার, আমাদের ডায়েট ভালো নয়, তাদের ক্ষেত্রে ইমিউনিটি অনেকটা উইক হয়ে পড়ে। তো সেক্ষেত্রে কী হয়, প্যারাসাইটটা ভেতরে ঢোকা মাত্র ও খুব ইজিলি আমাদের ইমিউন সিস্টেমকে ডিস্ট্রয় করে ফেলে বডিতে ছড়িয়ে পড়তে পারে। যখন ইমিউনিটি স্ট্রং থাকে তো ইমিউন সিস্টেম আমাদের ওই বাইরের থেকে যে প্যারাসাইটটা আসছে ওকে আটকে দেয়, ওকে ধরে রাখতে চেষ্টা করে আপ টু ইটস ম্যাক্সিমাম লিমিট। The host has various degrees of resistance to the parasite in the form of the host defense. Coming to the host defense part, here a healthy animal can defend itself against any kind of pathogens at different stages in the infectious disease process. The host defenses may be of such a degree that infection can be prevented entirely, or in an infection does occur, the defenses may stop the process before the disease is apparent. At other times, the defenses that are necessary to defeat a pathogen may not be effective until an infectious disease is well into progress. Okay. Next is the principles of infectious disease or water infectious disease. Here, in infectious disease, one thing is most important, that is colonization. That refers to microbe establishing itself on body surface. The term infection can be subclinical, where no or mild symptom is created, or occurs, and initial infection is the primary infection where damage can predispose individual to developing a secondary infection like respiratory illness, then impairing mucociliary escalator. Then coming to the pathogenicity of infectious disease, primary pathogen is microbe or virus that causes disease in otherwise healthy individual. Diseases such as plague, malaria, measles, influenza, diphtheria, tetanus, tuberculosis are examples where primary pathogen directly affect the individual. Then the opportunistic pathogen or opportunist that causes disease only when body's innate or adaptive defenses are compromised or when introduced into unusual location. Means these opportunistic pathogens are the members of normal microbiota or normal microflora of the body, or common and very much common in the environment like Pseudomonas. Then the virulence of the disease causing pathogens. The virulence refers to the degree of pathogenicity, and virulence factors are traits that allow microorganism to cause disease. Next, the characteristics of infectious disease are communicable or contagious diseases. Those can easily spread like this novel coronavirus, anthrax, swine flu. Then course of infectious disease, where incubation period is very much important. It is the time between infection and onset. ইনফেকশনটা হচ্ছে, বডিতে চলে গেল ভাইরাসটা, ও ইনকিউবেশন পিরিয়ডে বসে থাকলো, বসে আস্তে আস্তে ওর হাত পাগুলো মেলে ধরলো বডি, তারপর ডিজিজের সিমটমসগুলো আস্তে আস্তে বডির বাইরে প্রকাশ পেতে থাকে। It varies considerably, like a few days for common cold, that is our viral flu, to even years for disease like leprosy, which is also called Hansen's disease, and depends on the growth rate, host's condition, and infectious dose. Here infectious dose is the number of microbes necessary to establish the infection. Then coming to the signs and symptoms, where illness occurs, may be preceded by prodromal phase that occurs in vague symptom, and carriers may harbor and spread infectious agent for long periods of time in absence of signs or symptoms. Like now we are in a state of this coronavirus disease where many patients are there who were or who are asymptomatic, যাদের মধ্যে কোনো সিমটম ধরা পড়ে না করোনা ভাইরাসের, কিন্তু ওরা ক্যারি করছে করোনা ভাইরাস, ওরা coronavirus positive patient. Now the duration of symptoms, where acute infection occurs and symptoms develop quickly, last for a short period of time. Then chronic infection, where the infection develops slowly and lasts for months and years. Example, or টিউবারকিউলোসিস অনেক দিন ধরে থাকে, পুরো 6 মাস টিউবারকিউলোসিসের জন্য ওষুধ খেতে হয়। আদারওয়াইজ এই 6 মাসের মধ্যে একবারের জন্য যদি ওষুধ ঠিকঠাক সময়ে না নেওয়া হয় তাহলে ও আবার রিকল করে। দেন ল্যাটেন্ট ইনফেকশন, that never completely eliminated from the body, and microbe exists in host tissues without causing any kind of symptoms. It decreases the immunity, may allow reactivation of this kind of infection, like in our fungal ইনফেকশন ফাঙ্গাল ডিজিজ অনেকের বডিতেই এখন গরমের সময় একটা হিউমিড ওয়েদার ফাঙ্গাল ইনফেকশন তৈরি হয়ে যায়। এই ফাঙ্গাল ইনফেকশন যাদের হয় এদের ক্ষেত্রে এই ফাঙ্গাল ইনফেকশন পার্মানেন্টলি থাকে বডিতে। হয়তো আজকে আমি ওষুধ খেলাম চলে গেল, কিন্তু যখনই আবার পরের সেম সিজনটা আসবে, আমার যদি ইমিউন সিস্টেমটা ঠিকঠাক স্ট্রং না হয়, আমার যদি ডায়েট ঠিকঠাক না থাকে, তাহলে আবার ওই সময়ে ওই ওয়েদার কন্ডিশনে আবার সেম ইনফেকশনটা বডিতে তৈরি হবে। হয়তো এই জায়গাতে হবে না, অন্য একটা জায়গাতে হবে, হয়তো হাতে হয়েছিল, এবার হয়তো দেখা যাবে পায়ে হচ্ছে। Now coming to the mechanism of pathogenesis. Here the pathogenesis have various kinds of patterns that produce toxins that are ingested, like Staphylococcus aureus, Clostridium botulinum, which colonize mucous membranes and produce toxin. Then are invade host tissues and avoid host defenses. For example, Mycobacterium tuberculosis, Salmonella enterica. Then here is those kind of toxins which invade host tissues and produce toxins. Here some toxins are there which invade host tissues and avoid defenses, like Mycobacterium tuberculosis and say Salmonella enterica, and some other toxins are there which invade host tissues and produce toxin, like Clostridium tetani. And pathogens and hosts generally evolve toward balanced pathogenicity. To establishing infection, there is some points. First one is adherence. Here adhesins are produced which adhesins attached to the host cell receptor, often located on the tips of pili called fimbri, and then can be component of capsules of various cell wall proteins and binding highly specific, and exploits host cell receptors. Then coming to the colonization part, here growth occurs, then avoidance of secretory IgA, immunoglobulin A, and then compete with normal microbiota, tolerate toxins, then delivering effector proteins to the host cells by secreting various toxins. Then by penetrating skin, which is a difficult barrier to penetrate, bacteria rely on injuries like Staphylococcus aureus enters via cut or wound. And penetrating mucous membrane, here it is the entry point for most of the pathogens, and directed uptake by the cells, where pathogen induces cells to engulf via endocytosis. For example, Salmonella uses type 3 secretion system to inject effector proteins. Then exploiting the antigen sampling processes, where mucosal associated lymphoid tissue samples are there. Then some pathogens use M cells to cross the intestinal barriers. Some parasites are there, some microorganisms are there who survives phagocytosis by macrophages, induce apoptosis, then binds to base of the mucosal epithelial cells and induces uptake. Then some invade by alveolar macrophages, like Mycobacterium tuberculosis produces surface proteins and directs uptake, avoid macrophage activation. This was the part related to the establishment of the infection by the microorganisms in the body. Then we must know one thing is the host defense mechanism. Here the immune defense against pathogenic organisms is tailored to meet the broad range of their extracellular and intracellular life cycles within the host environment, and defense against bacterial agents primarily utilizes antibodies, complement and direct cytotoxic mechanism to control any kind of infection. The defense against mycobacteria requires T cell mediated DTH responses that result in granuloma formation. Antifungal defenses also use similar mechanisms to control organisms. Then defense against viral agents requires antibody neutralization upon infection, initial infection, and cytotoxic mechanisms regulated by NK cell. NK cell means the natural killer cells, and CTLs. When expanding within cellular compartment, defense against protozoal agents incorporates DTH and antibody to limit the growth. Then the defense against helminths and larger multicellular organisms utilizes atopic and ADCC dependent reaction. Atopic and ADCC dependent reaction means the antibody dependent cellular cytotoxicity. Here ADCC is the immune response to antibody coated cells. As well as granulomatous responses to sequester and destroy deposited eggs. Then organisms have evolved multiple mechanisms to evade host responses, ranging from antigenic modulation of surface proteins to direct immune suppressive action on specific cellular subsets. And then again, coming back to the host defense avoidance by the microorganisms or the parasites, they avoid the host defenses by hiding within a host cell, which always allows avoidances of complement protein, phagocytes and antibodies.
You have a call from unknown number +9.
Then they can avoid the host defense system by killing the host defense system. Means the avoiding killing by complement system proteins. Host defense system can kill the external antigens, but they can avoid the killing process by their complement system of proteins. Like some serum resistant bacteria resist this very well. Then Neisseria gonorrhoeae hijacks the host system and binds complement regulatory proteins to avoid the activation of membrane attack complex. Then avoiding destruction by phagocytosis by preventing encounters with phagocytosis, that is C5a peptidase, which degrades chemoattractant C5a. For example, this kind of function occurs in Streptococcus pyogenes infection. Then membrane damaging toxin, like which kill phagocytes other cells, and they can avoid destruction by phagocytes by avoiding their recognition and attachment. Here capsules which interfere with opsonization, some bind hosts regulatory proteins that inactivate C3b. Then M protein, cell wall of Streptococcus pyogenes, binds to regulatory proteins that inactivates the C3b. Then Fc receptors, which bind the Fc regions of antibodies, and you can find this in Staphylococcus aureus infection, Staphylococcus pyogenes infection. Avoiding destruction by phagocytes also occurs by surviving within the phagocytes. They can escape from phagosome prior to lysis with lysosome. For example, Listeria monocytogenes, which produces molecules that form pores in membrane. Then prevent phagosome lysosome fusion and avoid destruction, and you can see this in Salmonella sense ingestion by macrophage that produce protein that blocks the fusion process. Then they survive within phagolysosome. You can survive destructive environment also. Then they can avoid the host defenses by avoiding antibodies, like immunoglobulin protease. It cleaves immunoglobulin A found in the mucus secretion. Then by antigenic variation, they can alter structure of surface antigen, stay ahead of antibody production, like Neisseria gonorrhoeae varies antigenic structure of pili, then mimicking the host molecules, where the antigens cover surface with molecules similar to those found in the host cell, appear to be self. অ্যান্টিবডি গুলো আইডেন্টিফাই করতে পারে না, দেখতে ওদেরকে পুরো অ্যান্টিবডির স্ট্রাকচারের মতোই মনে হয়। so they can easily avoid the destruction process, like Streptococcus pyogenes form capsule from hyaluronic acid in the tissues. Then coming to the damage to the host, damage part of the host. Here direct and indirect effects are there. In direct effects, toxins are produced, and in indirect effects, immune responses takes place. Damages may help pathogen to exceed or to spread, like Vibrio cholerae induces watery diarrhea up to 20 liters per day, which can contaminate water supplies. Then like this coronavirus, where coughing can release pathogen droplets Then in the toxin section we have two kinds of toxin, that is exotoxin and endotoxin. Exotoxins are proteins with damaging effects which secreted or leak into tissues following bacterial lysis, like foodborne intoxication results from consumption, then destroyed by heating, which are destroyed by heating easily, and most ecotoxins are heat sensitive in nature. They can act locally or systematically. Then in exotoxin part we have neurotoxin which damage the nervous system, then enterotoxin that cause intestinal disturbance, then cytotoxin that damage variety of cell types. Then we also have avitoxin which have two parts. A subunit is toxic, usually an enzyme, and B subunit binds to cell, dictates the cell type to be infected. Then comes the membrane damaging toxins. Here all these are part of exotoxins. In membrane damaging toxins we have cytotoxins that disrupt plasma membranes, lyse cells, then super antigens which simultaneously bind with major histocompatibility complex class 2 and T cell receptors. Here T cell receptors interpret as antigen recognition, and toxic effect is from massive cytokine release from the toxic effect is from the massive cytokine release and include toxic shock syndrome toxin and several by the Staphylococcus aureus organism, Staphylococcus pyogenes organism. Then some other toxic proteins are there in exotoxin part which are some damaging proteins, are not AB toxin, membrane damaging toxin, or super antigens. Example of this AB toxin can be exfoliating from Staphylococcus aureus that causes scalded skin syndrome, destroys material that bind together skin layers. Then various hydrolytic enzymes including proteases, lipases and collagenases break down connective tissue, destroy tissues, some help bacteria to spread. Then comes the endotoxins. Here endotoxins are lipopolysaccharide in nature. Where lipid A triggers the inflammatory response. When this endotoxin is localized in production, response helps clear, and when it is systematic it causes widespread response like septic shock or endotoxic shock. Lipid A typically released following the cell lysis and activates innate and adaptive defenses. And peptidoglycans and other components also trigger these endotoxins. And coming to the comparison of these endotoxins and exotoxins, exotoxins from gram positive and gram negative and usually heat sensitive, means inactivated with high heat, and endotoxins only from gram negatives. Here lipid A component of LPS Small localized amounts yield appropriate response by systematic distribution, but systematic distribution can be deadly or heat stable. Now, damaging effects to the immune response. Earlier, it was direct effect where toxins were produced, and now this is the indirect effect where damaging effect occurs of the immune response, occurs with the immune response. Here, damage associated with inflammation, where phagocytic cells can release enzymes and toxic products, and damage associated with adaptive immunity, where immune complexes like antigen antibody complexes can form, settle in kidney or joints and activate complement system, leading to inflammation. For example, acute glomerulonephritis, which following the skin throat infection by the Staphylococcus pyogenes. Then cross-reactive antibodies, which may bind to the body's own tissues, promote autoimmune responses. For example, here we have acute rheumatic fever following the Staphylococcus pyogenes infection. Now, coming to the viral pathogenesis part, we have binding to host cell and invasion. Viruses actually attach to the target cells via specific receptors, then avoid immune responses. They avoid the antiviral effects of interference, where viruses may block expression of host genes or block activation of enzymes. Then antibodies antibodies and viruses move cell to cell and cause cell fusion, that is syncytium, to avoid the host defense. Modify surface antigens, outpace body's capacity to produce effective antibodies. Then RNA virus replicases, where HIV reverse transcriptase lack proofreading ability, and mutation is very common in RNA viruses as it is a single-stranded organism, where it is very easily to mutate. Then use antibodies to facilitate the macrophage uptakes, then regulating the host cell death by preventing or delayed apoptosis, then block major histocompatibility complex class 1 presentation, and finally all these things I told you is a descriptive part, but in summary, result of interaction are, in case of host defenses, are often effective degree. It can overcome the parasite and that the infection can be prevented entirely. Or if an infection does occur, the defenses may well stop the process before the disease is apparent. At other times, the defenses that are necessary to defeat a pathogen may not be effective until an infectious disease is well into process. And in a fully evolved mature relationship with the host and infectious agent initially coexist with limited detrimental effect. Effectটা limited থাকে. Thus the ultimate evolution of the host parasite relationship is not cure of infection by complete elimination of the parasite, but at least mutual coexistence without deleterious effect of the parasite on the host. In fact, in many human infections, the infectious agent is never fully destroyed and the disease enters a latent state only to be reactivated when immune surveillance wanes. পুরোপুরি যদি এলিমিনেট না হয় কিছু কিছু ক্ষেত্রে ইনফেকশিয়াস এজেন্টগুলো বডি থেকে, তখন এরা চুপচাপ বসে থাকে এবং আবার রিঅ্যাক্টিভেট হয় যখনই বডির ইমিউন সিস্টেমটা উইক হয়ে যায়। দ্যাটস ওয়াই আর ইমিউন সিস্টেমকে বুস্ট করতে হবে এবং এই রকম একটা প্যানিক সিচুয়েশনে যেখানে চারদিকে এত করোনা ভাইরাস পেশেন্টের সংখ্যা বাড়ছে, এখানে আমার কাছে খুব একটা ব্যাপার মনে হচ্ছে করোনা ভাইরাসের ক্ষেত্রে, যেটা না বললেই না হয়, যদিও এই ক্লাসের সঙ্গে রিলেটেড না, স্টিল ডিজিজ হবে, হয়তো ডেথ রেট কম, সুস্থ হয়ে যাবে, কিন্তু ডিজিজটা তো ছড়াচ্ছে, ছড়িয়ে আরেকজনের বডিতে যাচ্ছে। এই যে ছড়িয়ে পড়াটা, সেটাকে যতক্ষণ অবধি আমরা আটকে দিতে না পারছি ততক্ষণ পর্যন্তই আমাদের কাছে একটা কঠিন সময়। এই জন্যে ইমিউন সিস্টেমকে ভালো রাখা, শক্ত রাখা, আমাদের শরীরের প্রোটেক্টিভ বেড়াটা যেন কেউ ভেঙে না ঢুকতে পারে ভেতরে, সেই চেষ্টা করা, ভালো করে খাওয়া দাওয়া করা, ঠিকঠাক হেলদি ডায়েট মেনটেন করা এবং ঘরে থাকা, বারবার হাত পা ধোয়া, বাইরে গেলে বাইরে থেকে এসে জামা কাপড় বাইরে ছেড়ে ধুয়ে ভালো করে হাত সাবান দিয়ে ধুয়ে ইনমেড স্নান করে ঘরে আসা। So maintain all this, and I hope this class will help you a bit in your preparation regarding this topic. So that's all for today.